dare stand against me?
I dare more than you know. There is still a choice.
Inside Tu Shi's cave, Xiao Yan, Gu Yuan, Hun Tiandi, the Nihility Devouring Flame, Dragon Emperor Zhu Kuan, and everyone else finally discovered the legendary Flame Plaza, where 22 different heavenly flames were preserved. They also found the true treasure that Hun Tiandi had been pursuing all along, the God-tier embryonic pill. Who would ultimately obtain it? Would these mighty 9-star saints really fight each other here for such a supreme treasure? The pill itself had taken the form of an elderly man whose appearance was identical to that of the ancient god Tu Shi. Long ago, it was this very pill that had secretly helped both the purifying lotus flame and the nihility devouring flame escape from this place. We explained that entire story in detail in the previous video, so be sure to watch it afterward if you want to fully understand everything. The pill also wished to regain its freedom, and the nihility devouring flame immediately invited it to leave together. Purifying lotus flame. Do you still remember our agreement? Little E replied, I don't know you. The old man's expression became even gloomier. So, you want my true form, don't you? The smile disappeared from the nihility devouring flame's face. His eyes instantly turned cold. Attack. Take the pill. Hun Tiandi immediately charged forward. His terrifying Do Chi erupted like a tidal wave and crashed toward the god-tier embryonic pill. However, the old man merely let out a cold laugh before casually flicking a finger. The overwhelming wave of energy was instantly split apart. A pitiful trick. Zhu Kuan, Xiao Yan, and Gu Yuan reacted immediately. In a deep voice, Zhu Kuan warned everyone. We must capture that pill before the Hun clan does. Otherwise, they'll obtain it. Gu Yuan nodded. Stay alert. The two of them immediately joined the battle. Space itself instantly descended into chaos. One devastating attack after another flew toward the god-tier embryonic pill. Yet even while facing Hun Tiandi, the nihility devouring flame, Zhu Kuan, and Gu Yuan, 4 monsters whose cultivation had all reached the level of a 9-star saint, the old man remained completely calm. With a single hand, he unleashed an overwhelming force that blocked every attack at once. Everyone on Xiao Yan's side couldn't help feeling a chill run down their spines. No one had expected that a single god-tier embryonic pill would possess enough strength to fight 4 of the continent's greatest experts simultaneously. Meanwhile, the experts of the Hun clan were preparing to interfere. Xiao Yan waved his hand. Yan Jin and the others immediately stepped forward and blocked their path. The most important battle was taking place high in the sky. 5 figures continuously collided amid violent explosions of energy. Space trembled again and again as destructive shockwaves spread throughout the battlefield, making everyone's hearts tremble. Xiao Yan watched the battle with a grim expression. He did not interfere. His cultivation had not yet reached a level where he could survive an exchange between such terrifying experts. The strength of the god-tier embryonic pill had greatly exceeded everyone's expectations. Now they had to guard against not only the Hun clan, but also the pill itself. If either Gu Yuan or Zhu Kuan suffered a serious injury, the entire alliance would face disaster. The battle quickly reached a stalemate. Even Zhu Kuan realized that he had greatly underestimated his opponent. Meanwhile, Hun Tiandi and the nihility devouring flame constantly interfered, preventing Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan from successfully suppressing the pill. Yan Jin, the leader of the Yan clan, frowned. At this rate, we won't accomplish anything. Xiao Yan could only smile bitterly. Their cultivation was simply too low for a battle of this level. If they dared to interfere, the destructive power alone would instantly tear them apart. At that very moment, the god-tier embryonic pill snapped its fingers. A delicate medicinal fragrance suddenly spread throughout the air. Xiao Yan's expression changed dramatically. Don't breathe it in. Even the faintest trace of the aroma made him feel as though the Do Chi inside his own body was about to ignite uncontrollably. Everyone hurriedly held their breath. The old man slowly rose higher into the sky before opening his palm. Divine Palm Capsule. A brilliant sphere of light instantly appeared above his hand. The sky itself seemed to ignite. Boundless flames surged toward the sphere before compressing into an unimaginably destructive force. Destroy! The sphere of light descended from the heavens. Even Gu Yuan and the others immediately changed expressions. Without hesitation, all 4 experts released every bit of their Do Qi, combining their strength to form an enormous defensive barrier. But it was still not enough. With a deafening explosion, all 4 figures were blasted out of the sky before crashing violently into the ground below, leaving behind enormous cracks that spread for countless meters. Everyone watching was completely stunned. No one had imagined that the God-tier embryonic pill could suppress 4 9-star Saint experts with a single attack. The 4 battered figures slowly separated into 2 groups, staring at one another from afar. Floating calmly in the sky, the old man looked down at them. "You are still far from being qualified to challenge me." However, the nihility devouring flame merely let out a cold laugh. "You're celebrating far too early." He then turned toward Hun Tiandi. "Hand me the ancient god Tu Shi Jade." Hun Tiandi was briefly stunned, but he still handed over the jade. After catching it, the nihility devouring flame spat out a mouthful of black blood mixed with blazing flames. At the same time, his hands rapidly formed one seal after another. Xiao Yan carefully watched every movement. A moment later, he suddenly looked up in shock. The hand seals of the nihility devouring flame were completely identical to the seal held by the gigantic statue of the ancient god Tu Shi. The enormous statue began to hum and radiate dazzling light. Meanwhile, the jade transformed into a multicolored ring of light. The expression of the god-tier embryonic pill changed dramatically. The pill transformation ring. "How do you know how to use the ancient god Tu Shi's divine skill?" The nihility devouring flame did not answer. He simply waved his hand. The ring instantly shot into the sky and enveloped the old man. White smoke immediately poured from his body. The flame surrounding him flared even more violently as his body rapidly shrank, gradually returning to the form of a pill. Everyone instantly rushed forward. At that moment, they all realized the same thing. The Tu Shi Jade was the true key. Hun Tiandi let out a cold snort and immediately blocked the paths of Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan. He then threw out several Tier 9 treasure pills, which exploded violently the moment they left his hand. The explosions forcibly blasted both Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan backward. Using Tier 9 treasure pills as explosives. How wasteful. The next moment, the 2 of them appeared on opposite sides of Hun Tiandi. 2 devastating attacks shot directly toward the Hun clan leader. Hun Tiandi immediately found himself at a disadvantage against the combined assault of Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan. He was continuously forced backward and looked increasingly miserable. However, he fully understood the current situation. Grinding his teeth, he unleashed every ounce of his strength, doing everything possible to hold back both opponents. An extremely fierce battle erupted. Suddenly, Zhu Kuan let out a thunderous roar. A gigantic dragon phantom appeared behind him. A dazzling purple-gold light slammed mercilessly into Hun Tiandi's physical body. Hun Tiandi immediately spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and was blasted dozens of meters away. At the same time, the nihility devouring flame suddenly shouted, "Shrink!" The god-tier embryonic pill was finally compressed into a brilliant sphere of light within the pill transformation ring. The nihility devouring flame was overjoyed. He reached out his hand, preparing to claim his prize. However, a figure suddenly appeared before him. It was Gu Yuan. With a grim expression, he looked directly at him. "Hand over the pill. In your current condition, you're no match for us." Beside him, Zhu Kuan slowly clenched his fists as well. His fierce gaze remained fixed on Hun Tiandi. Hun Tiandi wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth before revealing a strange smile as he looked toward the silver sphere sealed inside the ring. "You want the god-tier pill?" In the very next instant, he suddenly opened his mouth. Before everyone's horrified eyes, he swallowed the god-tier embryonic pill whole. He had actually forced the god-tier embryonic pill directly into his own body. That was nothing less than suicide. Has he gone completely mad? Xiao Yan could hardly believe what he had just witnessed. Although it was only a god-tier embryonic pill, it still contained an unimaginably terrifying amount of energy. If someone recklessly swallowed it, both their body and even their soul would eventually explode from the overwhelming power. Hun Tiandi's unexpected action completely exceeded everyone's expectations. Even the expression of the nihility devouring flame changed. Everyone had wanted to obtain the god-tier embryonic pill. Yet no one had imagined that Hun Tiandi would swallow it so recklessly. Bastard! Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan instantly realized they had lost the pill. An overwhelming killing intent erupted from both of them. Hun Tiandi. Are you courting death? Ha ha ha, death. That remains to be seen. Hun Tiandi laughed sinisterly. At that very moment, his entire body began to shine. All of the injuries caused by Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan instantly healed completely. Wave after wave of terrifying energy fluctuations continuously poured out from inside his body. Gu Yuan and Zhu Kuan immediately sensed that Hun Tiandi's aura had suddenly become many times stronger than before. The pill's energy has begun erupting. His strength will continue increasing for a short period of time. However, it is highly likely that both his body and his soul will be filled with increasingly terrifying energy until they finally explode. Gu Yuan quickly informed everyone. We can't allow him to refine it. Zhu Kuan's expression became extremely serious. All we have to do is delay him long enough. Once the pill's power reaches its limit, we'll be able to extract the god-tier embryonic pill from his body. His eyes turned sharp as he shouted, "Attack!" What an absolutely mind-blowing storyline. We'll cover the continuation next Sandy, so don't miss it. Let's reach 500 likes. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you next time.